Dave, who are the top 3 waiver wire priorities?
My 3 waiver wire priorities. Are we sure we're live now?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I got a list of guys just to stash. So this is for the fantasy managers that don't need bye week replacements. Only 2 teams are on bye. Joe Burrow is number 1, and he's an IR stash for now. Looks like he'll be back around Thanksgiving, and that could be a league winner for obvious reasons. Number 2 is Sean Tucker. Adam, we talked about him on Thursday. Somebody who had good efficiency again, close carries to Rachaad White again, should get more playing time moving forward. Not a terrible matchup this coming week against Buffalo. I wonder if Sean Tucker, if you've got some stones, you could use him this week, but I'd rather stash him. And then the third stash is Brenton Strange, who might come off of IR this week. So again, this is only like a stash list, not guys that you could use right away with the same type of confidence. Obviously, you can't use Burrow right away, but it's Burrow, Tucker, Strange, top 3 to stash.
Guys, we have to start over. Yeah, look, let's be real.
If we're starting over. There's only going to be 2 of us coming back.
Let's be real. This is not the best waiver wire week. Usually I ask Jamey, he writes the column, I ask him for his top 3 priorities first, but he was laughing so hard he had to go off camera. But he's back now. So Jamey, by the way, I like your jacket. Who are your top 3 waiver wire priorities for week 11?
I'll go Burrow as well. I agree with Dave. Like, if you're looking for the thing about quarterback this week is there's a handful of guys that could help you if you need a replacement option. So if you're the Daniel Jones manager or you just don't like your quarterback situation, you got Jacoby Brissett, you got Tua in a great matchup, you got Geno Smith in a great matchup, you got Mariota who's playing, at a decent level for fantasy managers. There's just a handful of guys that can help you. So if you don't need a quarterback for this week and you're just looking ahead, Burrow is the easy one. I'm going to go with Amari DiMercato next. Looks like he's going to be the lead running back for the Cardinals, taking on a 49ers run defense that's been pretty bad since losing Fred Warner. And so looking at the situation with, as long as Trey Benson doesn't come back, you have Zonovan Knight banged up. DiMercato's played well each of the last 2 weeks, and I think he's going to get a bigger opportunity because I don't think they trust Michael Carter. So he's going to be second. And then I'll put Sean Tucker third. I do think that he can have some opportunity to play well in this week's game. It is, again, contingent on Bucky Irving not being back as well. But really, the quarterbacks and the tight ends, they're kind of in a similar situation of there's good guys and potential starters. Running back and wide receiver, you're basically hoping for certain situations to unfold. Running back's a little bit better than wide receiver this week just because there's not a standout guy.
I think, first of all, Dave, let me ask you, why did you go with Tucker over DiMercato?
Not sure if DiMercato is going to be the main running back. We don't have an update on Zonovan Knight, but it looks like he's going to miss the game. Trey Benson, the update was that he's progressing. Jonathan Gannon was he tried to be coy, like he does his best Bill Belichick impersonation whenever he talks about the running back. So he was coy about Benson. But the second that the IR window opens for him, you've got to assume he'll be back as soon as possible. DiMercato didn't get a ton of work, and the playing time was split pretty close last week between him and Knight. I'm not sure if he's going to get just like a lion's share with Michael Carter picking up scraps behind him. I like DiMercato. I just don't want to invest heavily with a lot of fab, or maybe only my top waiver claim if I only need a running back for week 11. And he's somebody just to kind of have on your bench just in case he ends up being one of 2 running backs that we're looking at for Arizona against the Niners.
All right, we got Jonathan Taylor and Alvin Kamara on bye. Colts and Saints are the only 2 teams with a bye this week. Tucker, by the way, 9 carries and 12 carries in his last 2 games. He has 1 catch in those 2 games. There have actually been 6 running backs who have scored a rushing touchdown against the Bills with 12 or fewer carries. Seems like a pretty fluky stat, but they are really bad against the run. So Tucker might have that opportunity. We didn't mention any wide receivers. You do have the injury to Romeo Doubs, so that made Jamey put Christian Watson atop his wide receiver list. We'll talk about that a little bit later. As far as Burrow goes, just, he's 50% rostered. If you have an IR spot, I imagine he's already there. So He wants to come back around Thanksgiving, which is 3 games from now, which would be Baltimore. But they could be, they're 3-6. So they could be 3-8 at that point. If they are, look, I absolutely agree. Joe Burrow is a great player to add. No question. I'm just giving a word of caution. He may not play. They might, if they're out of it, if they're 3-8.
Well, he told Jay Glazer he's playing the Thursday night game. That's
All
2
right.
games from now, actually.
But didn't they say that the record might, or am I making that up? I mean,
I'm going to guess what they said at the start of it is different from where he feels like he is right now. So they went into it with a 3-month timeline. He got hurt in week 2, 3-month timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're out of it, they may not rush him back. I don't think they ever said anything definitively he's coming back or not coming back.
Correct.
So he feels he's ahead of his time frame. They obviously feel so as well from a team standpoint because they opened the 21-day window. And then you get the report from Jay Glazer, where Burrow apparently said it himself that he's playing in that Thursday night game. So that's 3 games from now, but 2 games in between here and in between our timeline. So I would anticipate him playing, whether their record is having them out of the playoffs or not.
And I would love to have a quarterback like Burrow throwing to those receivers in Cincinnati on a team that has no defense. So every game should be a high scoring game. Baltimore at Miami, Arizona, weeks 15, 16, 17, fantasy playoffs, Joe Burrow, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I think just the thing you have to know, if you just started playing this season or haven't followed Joe Burrow's career and you just watching what the Bengals are doing, in 4 games, Joe Flacco is averaging 30 fantasy points per game. That is number 1 quarterback numbers. Not number 1 as in terms of a number 1 guy. That is number 1 in the league.
Honestly, the matchups aren't even that good, but it doesn't
matter.
It doesn't matter. All right. No. So what I read was Ben Baby from ESPN. His article about it said Burrow didn't rule out the notion that the team's overall record will factor into that decision. But let's go ahead and just say pick him up and hope for the best because you could have a league-winning player on your roster, and that's pretty exciting.